Hello everyone, welcome to today's session. For those of you who don't recognise my voice, my name is Mike, and today we'll be covering some of the frequently asked questions on our integration with Evolution Web Store. So this is for some of our customers who don't use the Prima Go store, answering some of the questions that we do get frequently with the integration. So Callum is on the live chat today, and he'll be able to answer any questions during the session. Or if you want to wait till the end, we will be hanging around for a little while to answer any questions that you do have. So we'll get started. So one of the main points that or questions that we do get with the integration is, I've just set this company up in Prima, but it's not gone to Evolution, and the way that we transfer the files and the companies and whatnot to Evolution, there can be a number of things that can stop it from going. So most of this is controlled from the company record. So the first thing that you want to actually check is that there are no special characters within the actual company record. So if we just go to companies, and then we'll just search for any random company. Say if I've just set one of Mike Stationery up. So in the files there's no special characters, and what I mean by special characters, ampersands, brackets, things like that within the actual company name here, is that can break the files going across. So that's the first thing that we do advise checking if your company's not gone to Evolution. So if it was Mike and Callum Stationery Company and you put an ampersand in there, you would have to remove that ampersand and actually type the word "and" for it to go to Evolution. That's the first thing that you check. The next thing is that the primary contact must be web enabled. So if we look down, we've got Dave Smith here as the primary contact for Mike Stationery Company. So if I wanted this company to actually be exported to Evolution, we need to just go into the contact, go into the web access tab, and then there's got to be a few things within here that need to be set up. So first of all, it must have an account logon and password. So we usually recommend this being the same as their email. So dave.smith at mikestationery.co.uk. Set that as the username or wherever it might be, and then the password can be wherever you want. One thing I will say is whatever you set here for a new company, this is what your users will use to log in on your Evolution web store. So make sure you set it something relevant that you will remember, not just anything random, because this will be what your customers need to use to log on to the store. Once you've entered in the details there, you want to make sure that it's web enabled. If that isn't web enabled, then this company won't go to Evolution. The primary contact against any company that when you are using Evolution will need to be web enabled. So once you've made them changes, you can just save it, and that's one other thing that you need to check. This setup also applies to any contacts that you do want to have set up to purchase through your store. So if I go back to the company, there's a few more users here. There's Mike Smith here. So if he wanted to be purchasing through your store, you would have to do the same as you've done with the other contact and set up some details excuse me, within this section here. Otherwise that contact won't go to Evolution. So I'm sure a lot of your customers have multiple locations. So as we've just both made them sort of web enabled, put all the relevant information into there, you'll notice that they're both set to each location. So one question we do get is, well, only one of my locations has gone to Evolution. Why is that? And it's all because of the contacts. So if you've not got a web enabled contact set up against a location, that won't export to Evolution either. So that's one thing that you do want to check. So for example, with the Southern headquarters, I know we've both got them set up, but if one of your customers said, oh well, I want to place an order to this location, you would need to make sure that against that location there is at least one contact that is web enabled by putting this information and making it web enabled within here. Now there's a few other things that will stop the company from going. The first thing, one of the other things is emails. So the way that Evolution works with the pricing and whatnot is that you can't have any duplicate emails within the system. So if Dave Smith had an email address here, so we'll just copy this, So if you had this this email address here and it was somewhere against, say, the location, so by that I mean within here, so the email that's set here, if that was duplicated like that, it would stop this company from exporting to Evolution, as they don't really want any duplicate email addresses going into their system. So that would stop the company being exported. So you've got to make sure that either against the location or against the contact, it's always unique emails that are there. Now there's two more reasons that a company wouldn't go to Evolution, and one of the things is it's actually not set to be a customer. So if it's set to be either a prospect or a supplier, using these two tick boxes here, it wouldn't go to Evolution. It would stop it from going, because it only exports customers rather than prospects and suppliers. So you've always got to make sure that that is ticked. Then the very final thing that would stop it from going to Evolution is the trading status. So if you put a customer to be on hold, it wouldn't go to Evolution. It wouldn't be exported. It wouldn't be updated. And that's all controlled from this trading status here. So if a customer is set to be anything other than normal or priority, even referred to accounts, it would go. But if it was on hold, it wouldn't. So that's the very last thing to check. So that's just a bit of an overview of why companies wouldn't go. Next thing we're moving on to is we do get a lot of questions of, oh well, I've got a contract set up for this customer, but it's not pulling through the pricing. Why is that? I mean, the contract lines aren't shown within Evolution. So the way our setup works is that there's sort of an overnight upload. Sort of after you've made all your changes to your customers in the day, at night we upload the information to Evolution, and within that upload will be contracts. Now the key thing to check with the contracts, and I know there's no lines in this contract here, but if you had a contract full of lines, the main reason that it doesn't go is that it's not in date. So to check that a contract's in date, if your customers have reported, oh, I can't see my contract pricing, what's going on, you would need to come into the company, and then from the company come to this contract/patch list and click in here. Then you would want to start a revision, because looking at the two dates up above here, you would need to see if it is valid or not. Once you've sort of done that revision, once you've made the changes, made sure that it's in date, you just hit one of the revisions here. So we'll just hit apply interim revision for the time being. That'll go through, that'll update the contract and make sure that it's in date. So what will happen is then, next time your sort of customers come to order online, the contract will be in date, it will be valid, and it will go to Evolution. One thing I will say is that it can take up to 24 hours for it to export to Evolution, so that's one thing you may need to look out for. It won't be instant, but it will take just a little while for Evolution to process the contract file at their end. Sometimes it is a little bit quicker, but it can take up to that time, so it's just one thing to bear in mind. So that's that. Now another question we do get is, well, some of my orders aren't coming into Prima from Evolution. I've received the order email from them, but I've not actually seen it in Prima. And the reason for that is that it could be that your Evo link isn't running. So what we do advise is to have the Evo link set up on the machine that runs the EDC, and if the Evo link isn't running, then the files won't be downloaded into the into your computer, so where the EDC can pick it up. So what you want to do, first thing you want to do is you want to make sure that your Evo link is running. The next thing you want to do is go to a folder within the Prima V6 folder to make sure that there's nothing in there that's waiting to be picked up, and that you want to make sure that that is set within Evolink as well. So the folder that is specified, we just want to go to your C drive, then your Prima V6 folder, and then the folder in question is the Click To folder. So with an Evolink, you are able to set this to drop the XML orders into, so it's this folder that you want to set up. If it isn't set up to this folder, then your orders may be going to a different folder and won't be being picked up by the EDC. So that's the main reason for your orders not being in Prima. So moving on to the next point is, we do get some questions that the price in Prima is correct, but in Evolution it's not. And there can be a number of reasons for this, but the majority of it does come down to live pricing and that setup. And the way the live pricing works, it goes off an email that's set within Prima, and the email that's set within admin screen. So when it the systems look together, they want to look on this email address that matches. So if you do have any duplicate email addresses, like I said before, with the company not exporting, that can stop the pricing from showing. So if you get your customers querying sort of why the price isn't showing, it could be that the contract's not exported, or that there are duplicate emails that are stopping the live pricing from working. So if Dave rang and said that well, my pricing's not showing, it's just showing the net pricing, I would go into his user, I would check that this email address here is unique within my system and within Prima. So what we can do, we can copy that, and to see if it's against any other contacts, what we can do, we can go to contacts, and within here we can actually search for email addresses. So we can come into here and say, well, there's a contact email by hitting the blue bar at the top to expand the search, and then we should be able to paste it in here. Once we've done that, we can just hit search, and it should only come up with one. So that's what we want, is come up with the only contact against the company we're setting up. But it could be that it's against the location. So what we're going to do, more than often, it will just be against the location for the company. So it's a case of just going into the company. So I think we're just having some connectivity issues in this office. So you can just go into the company, into the location, and there could be a duplicate email there that stops the pricing. So if there is, we can just delete that, save it, and that should kick the pricing into play. So that's one of the main reasons that the price isn't or could not be working. There's two other sort of options, that questions that we do get, and they're relating to the parent-child setup. So with the way that Evolution works, parent-child does not. So if you have some customers set up with parent-child contracts, the way that it works in Prima is that you can have the one contract against the parent, and even if it's not shown within the contract list for your child companies, it won't pull into the company online. So what you'll have to do, you'll have to copy that contract into the other users. So that can be done by either creating a sales quote and adding lines from there, or if it's quite a large contract, you will be able to export it and contact our customer service department for one of the contract import templates and import it into the company that way. It's not something that does work, so there are ways and means about it. So if you do have some companies that are set up that way and it's not working as it should, contact us and we'll be able to point you in the right direction for that. Now the very last point that we'll move on is packed pricing. So if you do have some packed contracts set up with your companies, then that will not export to Evolution. Only contract pricing exports to Evolution. So if you do have something within sort of this pack list here, then it won't actually be live for Evolution. Only the contract list from here will pull. Okay, so that's everything that we wanted to cover today. I know it's been a relatively quick one. It's just some frequently asked questions on the service. If you do have any questions, myself and Callum will be hanging around on the YouTube chat till the very end. So don't hesitate to ask away. And if you are interested in any one-to-one training, you would like some more information on our available training packages and services, please drop us a message in the live chat or contact our customer service department. We'll be more than happy to help. Thank you for your time today. Hope you have a great weekend, and I'll see you next week.